Good day, everyone. This is Yin Yang in California with Morsels of a Thought, number 1767. I have been here many, many days in a row, 1767 days. So, what I'm doing is bringing you morsels of a thought of wisdom, because knowing the right things to do in your life would be called wisdom. And actually doing the right things, doing those right things is called virtue. So if we want this world to have more virtue, we do have to start with morsels of a thought of wisdom in order to do the things that are wise to do. Okay, so I am reading from Launch: How to Take Your Business to New Heights. This is a book by Jen du Plessis. It's spelled Jen du Plessis, and I am rubbing it in. Uh-huh. Okay. I'm rubbing it in. Section 7. What happens next? This is section 7. Be a life learner. Okay. So, mm, I don't recall exactly the spot I stopped on. So we're on the CPS. The CMPS designation places you in unique company. Now, when I read from this book, I map it onto my own life with analogs or something called the equivalent. They're called analogs. The action that is equivalent to this action. For example, if she says that you want to assign a task to schedule something to your worker, then in my life I will learn to ask somebody else to schedule something, or I will schedule something. In other words, if I were just sitting there not knowing that I should do something like that, I wouldn't know from this book, but from this book, I do know from this book what I ought to be doing in order to be equivalent to somebody who's running a business. If somebody is running a business over here very nicely, you follow them a little bit. If you follow them a little bit, if you can get yourself to be about that same vibration that they talk about nowadays, vibrations, you can improve your life dramatically. Okay, so what happens next? Be a life learner. The big idea we were on is the key to continual advancement in this industry and growing your practice is to embrace constant learning. And Jim Rohn said, Formal education will make you a living, self education will make you a future." Oh, wow. Okay, so where are my bookmarks all? So why are my bookmarks all over the place? I think that we were on, uh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Why did I put two bookmarks in? And maybe I'm trying to tell myself to repeat something. Gosh darn. Let's see, where did I put my bookmarks? My bookmarks are here somewhere. I'm very sorry I'm taking so long. I think what I'll do is read from section 7, what happens next, and then we will continue where we left off. Um, Be a life learner. Okay. By no means is our industry static. Okay. Far from it. The way things change so constantly, it's getting harder to be on the cutting edge. Compliance keeps changing, guidelines keep changing. The way people find us has really changed. The way people get loans has changed tremendously. So the analog to this would be that that exactly this, except for people getting loans changing tremendously, is people doing things tremendously differently than before. You have to constantly, the author says, you have to constantly stay ahead of the curve, or you will fall farther and farther behind. The way to stay ahead is to embrace being a lifelong learner. Standing still equals going backward. In our industry today, if you're not moving forward, you're actually moving backward. You're not even standing still, you're moving because because things change so much and so constantly. Think about when you first got into the business and you didn't know anything. You had to dedicate yourself to learning and being a student of the industry. You didn't know what loan products were. You had to study underwriting guidelines and perhaps attempt to be a salesperson. You needed to talk and work with your loan processor and your underwriter to understand the process. You had to learn about the market and how rates tick. You had to learn loan level pricing, and you had to figure out how to price a loan. You determined how to qualify somebody, what income you could use, and what you couldn't use. Now, the analog to this is that when I created a young family gift exchange, I had 16 people to consider, and there were four elders, there were, I don't know, eight or something, four grandchildren, and then there were some other people, so four for eight. So then there were eight cousins in my category. So in the category in which I stood in. And we had to learn what was affordable for everybody and how to determine what to do and create for the party. Now, this would have been a young family gift exchange. It was very, very hard to get people to understand the motive behind it. It was to generate movement and generate a gift giving between cousins and elders and grandchildren. So the elders each were assigned a grandchild just because the numbers were perfect. And then we were supposed to give a gift in a circle to everybody. I gave one to Dennis or somebody, I don't remember who I gave it to. And then somebody else would give one to me. So it turned out that I didn't receive a gift. But that's okay. So it's a little bit like when she fails to receive a loan. That's kind of that way. Okay. How to qualify somebody, what income you could use and what you couldn't use. Okay, now there we go. We are reading from Launch: How to Take Your Business to New Heights by Jen du Plessis. Plessis is spelled Plessis. Plessis. Here she talks. There were 1,001 things you had to learn. You had to educate yourself so you could be a knowledgeable loan originator. I had to become a good leader and be able to contact everybody with leadership skills. That's very, very valuable. All of the author says, all of that learning got you to this point. Now, though, you may be challenged by how the industry has changed, and you may feel stumped. At one time, you felt you had at one time you felt you had the necessary knowledge, but don't feel that way anymore. Okay. All right. Challenge questions. If you're feeling like you're losing ground in the knowledge game, it's time to challenge yourself. So I have some questions for you, says the author. The answers will reveal to you whether you are challenging yourself to move forward or if you're falling behind. Are you any different today after the huge changes to our market than you were prior to Dodd-Frank, DODD hyphen FRANK, and the TRID disclosure rule? Do you truly know how TRID works and what the disclosure timeline requirements are? Have you taken additional steps to improve since the advent of these immense changes? Now, my analog goes like this. Do you know when the store closes? Do you know when you have to buy the gift for somebody before the deadline when stores are closing? That's just my analog. Okay, now here you go with the author. Have you read a self-improvement or business book in the last 6 months? And if you have, do you remember the name of it? Do you remember when it was what it was about? Do you try to apply at least one new idea that you learned in the book? Do you read any mortgage specific magazines that come to your office or home? Okay. Do you read them front to back, or do you just look at some statistics? Do you dig in and read so that you can learn something new? Do you even subscribe to industry magazines? So this is the analog to this is keeping an eye on the style. Would she like a large purse or would she like a small purse? What sizes are the purses? Would she like a coupon or just in the last 6 months, says the author, have you looked at and mastered a new product that you could sell? Even better, have you looked at end-to-end guidelines from one of your investors, if you're a correspondent or broker, or your own company's guidelines? Do you regularly attend seminars, conferences, webinars, listen to podcasts such as Mortgage Lending Mastery, shameless self-promotion of my podcast, or watch YouTube videos on topics in or related to your industry? Do you subscribe to any newsletters about sales or about positive thinking or about motivation? If you haven't, subscribe to those, then read or listen to them every single day. Do you have a business coach? To move forward, you need an accountability partner, which a coach can fulfill. So my analog would be, do you have a partner to go to the store with to get the damn present? Young family gift exchange there. Okay, back to the author. She says, are you an active member of an industry or committee such as the Mortgage Bankers Association, Mortgage Brokers Association, National Association of Professional Mortgage Women, or others? Now, the analog to this is, do you have a social life where you go out and you're a member, you have a membership to something where there are social interactions? Okay. The author says, here's another one. Have you attended a seminar held in our industry by one of our associations in the last 6 months? Are you even a member or an affiliate member of an association? So the analog to this is, yeah, membership in some kind of social organization and listening to seminars of various topics that you're interested in. Okay. Now, this author says, are you a has or a has been? You know, it's one thing to move the needle forward on your business on a daily basis, and that's working in your business. This is working on your business and on yourself. One last question. What are you doing to continually develop talents and skills to strengthen your commitment to your career so you can get smarter and better in the mortgage industry? So, yeah, the same thing goes for the analogs. Okay, I won't go into more analog stuff because we're going to Jen's Jots now. The industry keeps getting more complex and challenging. The only way to stay ahead is to keep learning. Okay, now we are reading from Wisdom. We are reading from Launch, How to Take Your Business to New Heights. In morsels of a thought, hopefully thoughts of wisdom, we learn the right things to do in our lives that make our lives better, longer, and more helpful to the society. And I'm reading from the mortgage lender's book because she knows so many subtle nuance details, subtleties of how to run a business. It is so well guided. I don't know the word, I can't recall. Anyway, so we are reading from that, and today is episode 1767. All right. Now, this author says, embrace Kaizen, the process of continuous improvement. If you're not improving every day, you're losing ground. Comes from the Chinese, goes to the Japanese. It is Kaizen. It is where you go and do more. Read at least 10 pages of a business, self-improvement, or real estate related book every day. Make time to read 10 pages a day adds up to 3,650 pages a year, anywhere from 15 to 20 books. That's a ton of knowledge right there. See, we are reading approximately 5 pages a week in Launch, Jen du Plessis. Listen to podcasts, either mine or others, she says, to expand your growth and wealth of knowledge. Listen during downtime. When you're waiting in line or driving to the office or home, I'll bet you could get in 1 or 2 hours of learning every week. Cross-pollinate your knowledge. Learn about taxes and real estate and finance so you have a comprehensive view of how mortgage lending fits in. Now, my analog, oh, yeah, never mind. Learn about tax implications with a CPA. Talk to estate planners to learn more about estate planning. These topics have a bearing on mortgage lending. Develop and or improve your personal and sales skills. The bottom line is that when you challenge yourself, you can educate and better inform and guide your clients. When an intern, quote unquote, is asked a question such as, can you give me an idea of where the rates are going? An intern will say something like, oh, if I knew that, if I had a crystal ball, I'd be lounging on a beach somewhere. When a PhD is asked that same question, the PhD offers a sophisticated answer because PhD his or her head wrapped around mortgage-backed securities, how they work, and what's happening in the economy. A PhD understands what the federal funds rate is and how it impacts short-term sales, not long-term rates. Are you an intern or PhD? Chapter. Oh my God. I coughed into page 208. This book is now germy. Shoot. I'll spray it with alcohol. I have an alcohol spray somewhere near here. I'll come back to it. Excuse me. Chapter 7, Part 2. Designations demonstrate your expertise. The big idea: separate yourself from the competition by earning a professional designation. Harvey Mackay, M-A-C-K, capital K-A-Y. If you have integrity, nothing else matters. If you don't have integrity, nothing else matters. Your credibility as a professional is going to be vitally important as we move into the future. We've had tremendous turmoil in the industry the past 10 years, and the challenges and competition that face us in the future will keep growing. You will need to elevate your professionalism and be able to demonstrate your expertise in order to compete effectively. You particularly must do everything you can to rise from being a commodity to a preferred product provider. Pressure for demonstrating your expertise is coming from many directions. People these days are extremely conscious about reviewing capabilities and experience online to find someone who can clearly demonstrate they are a legitimate, educated, credentialed, professional mortgage expert. These expectations are certain to affect how all of us will be evaluated in the future. Pressure is also coming from within our industry, specifically to be licensed and recognized as true professionals. If you don't have a professionally recognized acronym after your name and your card simply says you're a loan officer, senior loan officer, or mortgage consultant, I think it's vitally important that you get further education and training and obtain one or more professional designations. Why do I think this is so important to your future? First, it shows your commitment to being a professional. It shows that you are willing to dedicate your time, energy, and focus to ensure that you're an expert. It shows you're knowledgeable and that you're at the forefront of knowing what is happening in our industry. You are familiar with the techniques for dealing with retirement and saving and taxes. And you know about alternatives and even some of the older options in the market. I can't stress enough how important it is your level of professionalism goes above and beyond the mainstream basics of the industry. I am reminded of a time when I was given an opportunity to get a job. Well, my friend was visiting from out of town, so I declined it. I declined an entire job for the stupid friend. Goodness gracious, sorry. Well, she's eventually become a very prejudiced woman, so I don't call her a friend now. Unfortunately, my she was really nice actually, and when I met her through college, we talked about her major, which she chose economics. And the reason she chose economics is that she did well in her classes of economics. And what was I going to say? And she was very professional all the way through college as well because she worked for her father in a store. And so she knew the various important comprehension of professional lingo, professional behavior, professional interactions, professional transactions. And then when she became an economics professor, she was well built for that. Unfortunately, she had to go to Purdue. At the time, it was a wasteland of nothingness outside of the university. There was only the university. And I have to tell you, I actually became a source of good information about which schools. I asked all my foreign friends who were foreign students who were all engineers, uh, what uh, what schools were valuable considered in Taiwan because there were separations in China. The professors all went to Taiwan and the buildings remained in mainland China. So in mainland China, you've got a disconnected place, but on Taiwan, you've got the actual knowledge base but from the professors that were there when they were alive. Um, So that was very, very interesting to me. Japan has a university called Waseda, and then in China, in Taiwan, there is Shifan, and I can't remember anymore. It's a lot of quite a few, all in Taipei. I think so. I don't know. Tsinghua. There was Tsinghua, and there was 师范大学, 清华大学. Don't remember. I don't remember. See, I like to read a certain book on Fridays that helps with the brain memory, and I do that a lot so that I can reclaim my memory after 90 days. Okay, so we have read through some of Jen du Plessis today. I'm losing my voice. Sorry. And I hope that you have a wonderful, great day. And I always end with the eighth president of the United States, Martin Van Buren, who was from Kinderhook, New York. Old Kinderhook.